Hi, how are you doing? Hope you are well and safe and having a great day. I'm having a great day. It's a bit cloudy, it's been raining. I've had to turn the lights on in the studio for the first time since about April, but I'm still having a lot of fun. I've been painting in Procreate again today, and I wanted to do a pastel painting, and I've discovered that there aren't a lot of decent pastel brushes available in Procreate. So I started to play around and make a couple, and I produced this painting of a little river scene in Norwich from where me and Special K were visiting last weekend. But it's not a complete set. I just made a couple, and I am going to work on it and produce a full set of pastels. But this, in the meantime, is a painting I did with just a couple of brushes that I've created, and also some of the standard brushes in Procreate. And when I've done these, I obviously will be making them all available for you to use. So let's get straight into the video. Well, here we are in Procreate. I really enjoyed working in Procreate last week, so I thought I would give it another go. And this is the scene I'm going to be painting. It's the river at Norwich, so the same town I was in last week. Doesn't seem to want to move. Oh, I've got to touch it, don't I, first? That's it. Move that out of the way. Let's set the scene up. I'll just put that down there a little bit. Center that. Bring the palette out. The colour palette on here as well. I'm going to do a pastel painting, so I want to change the background colour. So I do like go to classic. Let's go to the disc, and I'm thinking sort of cerise colour. I do like those kind of colours when I'm doing pastel work. And but I want a background in here as well. So I'm going to go to the spanner, add, insert a file, and I've got a paper called Artrage. This is a watercolour paper, and the actual canvas size is 36 inches by 24 at 300 dots per inch. So it's a big file, so you can resize that to fit any Procreate image that you're likely to want to do. See, it puts a nice texture on there. What I want to do now is just change the blend mode of this to overlay. There we go. And then once I've done that, lock that layer so I can't paint on it, and then create a new layer. This is going to be my painting layer. I'm going to put that layer below the textured paper. And if you want to get this textured paper, it is available on Gumroad. I believe it is Gumroad, and I'll put a link in the description so you can get that. I think I've put it up there as a separate download, but also you can get it with some of the watercolor brushes I've created. So let's get into the painting process. And I'm thinking that well, I'm not thinking, I know I'm going to do this in pastels. So I'm just going to start blocking in some colours. But I have to say, I'm not overly fond. I wonder if I should drag this out as well. Can you drag that out? No, you can't. I wondered if you could drag the brush palette out as well. I'm not overly fond of the pastel pencils in Procreate, so I am going to create some new ones, but I've made a start. I've had a little play around this morning and created a soft pastel and an hard pastel, and I'm going to be using those. But today, right now, I'm just going to begin with the charcoal block, which is default with Procreate. So looking at this, I just want to begin by getting in some colour. And when I'm doing pastels, I like to get in my dark colours first. I like to use big bold marks like this. and mix up that pastel a bit and get lots of different colours going off, leaving some of that pink to glow through. We're already sort of just bringing in some more colour. There's sort of branches hanging down there. Let's some of this dark colour again. Not quite dark enough. I do like to put purples in my shadows as well. Get some of those in. Bring that up here as well. At the minute, pastels are my absolute go-to medium when I'm painting traditional. I absolutely love. I've got a bit low down, haven't I? A bit low down. I absolutely love the vibrancy of the colours that you can get in pastels, and I think they are it's the easiest medium to imitate digitally, because it's a very similar sort of beast the way it works. Now, you don't really mix pastels, you just choose a colour and go with it, and so that tends to work really well, and that's what I'm trying to do here. That's better. These colours are a bit light. I know, I'll just knock them back a bit. Got the brush too small. I really like to just use big bold strokes to start with. Green up again. At least purple up there. Oh. Cool, liking that. I'm looking at the reference all the time and just trying to get those shapes, patterns in. Take the brush down size a bit, building in, a bit too light, still too light, and it's a bit, my drawing's a little bit on the yellow side there. Warm it up a bit. Still a bit yellow. Oh, it's too dark. Trial and error. I know, I guess I can pick a colour off here, can I? No, I can't. That surprised me. I thought I'd be able to select a colour off the reference image, unless I could be doing it wrong, I suppose. There's always that. Let's put this little building in. Just blocking stuff in. Okay, I'm not going to do all the buildings. I just want a kind of an impression, really. And that'll do. That gives me what I want. Guys in the boat. I like the colour of that boat, that sort of turquoise colour. I really like that. Just use the eraser to. I believe if I hold that down, it should change the eraser to the brush I'm using. I appear to have done that. Why am I struggling? Why don't I just zoom in? I do that all the time. Don't go too dark. Just a little impression. All we're after. How long was that arm? Don't really need to worry too much about the detail of that just yet. This little guy sort of sat behind him, haven't we? That's a bit dark. I'll do for now. Just sort of put them in there roughly. I've gone a little bit heavy there. I'm sort of getting some horizontal strokes in water. Then we've got the darker water down here going in, which sort of brings that boat. It blends it in a little bit. Highlights in there. The ugly stage. We're at the ugly stage. We've still got the texture showing. Look, we've still got that nice texture going off. I think we're nearly at the end of stage one, and we're now going to start going into the second part of the painting, where we start to flesh out, let's say, flesh out some of these tones. And I'm going to stick on this one layer. I don't see any need to really change layers much, but I'm going to start playing around with those two brushes I've created. The soft pastel, let's go with that one first, and try and soften up some of these trees. I do like having this reference image. Yeah, I can just sort of look at that at a glance, and well, straight away, can you see how that's softening up that edge? I'm definitely going to work on a set of pastel brushes, and I'll let you know as soon as they're available. I do a lot of pastel work, so I will sample all the textures from pastels, actual pastel pencils, or pencil. What would you call them? Chalks, I suppose. Yeah. Look at that soft diffused look we're getting with this brush. It's like smudging it with your finger. I'm quite liking that. We can sort of blend this stuff in. Quick way of painting, and then I could swap to my other brush, the hard pastel that I created, and this is going to give me just a really hard line look, so I can define the edge there. That big strokes. I'll take the size of it down a little bit, with more towards limey colour, I guess. I think this particular brush needs a little bit more work on it. Let's get some of those branches in there like that. That's cool. And then darker colour. Like this, getting in this vertical. And I'm thinking I need to pick up this purple colour. Some of that in there. That always works well. I think this isn't the brush for this. I'm going to go back to the charcoal block. I'm going to use that fine brush to, the hard pastel I should say, to define the edge of that building a little bit more. I should have probably got these darker colours in earlier, really. I'm going to come in with that soft brush as well. Got to remember, I'm trying to do a pastel, not an oil painting or anything else like that. It's much better, you know, putting the light colours on top of the dark. That works for me way better. Let's go for this sort of green. A little bit of that in there. I can see some of that going off. Making little marks look. Lighter. It's in the water. Now in the reflections should appear a bit less saturated, more grey. This. Sweep a horizontal line in there. Could be doing with my soft pastel here. just to sort of out a little. Go, and we've got sort of thing going off. Sort of ripples. Find some more ripples. I think these characters are tiny. I think I've got them. I've got the scale completely wrong on them. Seems to me that the colour that I've got on the colour picker is darker than the colour that I'm presenting on the screen. And I don't know if that's anything to do with the overlay. Have a quick look actually. I think it is. I think the overlay does make it appear slightly lighter. That's something you've got to be aware of. That in a bit. And then I can pick this colour up and just a bit thicker than that actually. That through there. With these reflections in the water. Like that. And then I can take the purple again and sort of go across it. Maybe I need the charcoal block. I don't want to be blending this. I want the colours to go straight over the top. Or like that. That's it. In fact, there's a brush called the Burnt Tree. Let's go with that. Make that quite big. And that might be quite nice to get these sort of sparkles on the water, perhaps. Perhaps I overdid it a little bit. Try again. Better. And there. Maybe here a bit. Bit of artistic license going off here because it doesn't actually have the sparkles in. Gives it like more of a pastel-y, that word, pastel-y look. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Right, okay, this building, let's go back to the hard pastel brush. Missed it. Got it. Need to change the colour as well. Maybe something like that. This brush maybe a bit thicker. I just want some strokes in there. Be easily defined. And also pick up this tree colour and pop in a few more strokes. To indicate the few more leaves and things. I can come down here a little bit more too, defining the edge of that. Call this red colour. Missed it. Want it a little bit lighter up here. More skies. There like that. We go. Just breaks that tree up a little bit. We've sort of got that building in. It's nice. Now we can come in, do the same with these. So I'm using the odd pastel at the minute. There's some detail there. And shaping that. Just swap to that soft pastel because I can blend that a little bit. It's quite nice. Blend that to that colour. And then take here, blend that up to there a little bit. Yeah. Like that. Looking at the path, think about putting that in now. That's sort of got that there. Coming round that. Purple. Bit of purple in the shadow. Trying to make those pastel type marks. I know you get pastel artists that like just blend everything and get these absolutely fabulous photorealistic paintings. But you know that if you followed me for any length of time, you will know that's not my style at all. And I just like to do the impressionist thing. And I love to see the brush marks and the marks that I'm making. So that's looking reasonable. Let's get some soft edges over here as well. Blend in. This brush works much nicer when you're just sort of blending in colours that are underneath. There we go. Go back to the hard pastel for a bit more detail. Ready colour. I need to get them at the same angle. And set. Little window there. One here. I could use this smudge brush, couldn't the smudge brush? If I see, I think you need to, for this to work, for me, I always need to go into the selection of brushes, and then when I hold on that, it works. It'll do what I want it to do. And switch that a bit. It's not quite as nice as the effect with the actual using the brush. It's sort of muddied it up a bit, hasn't it? Which isn't what I wanted, really. Yes, a nice softer effect. Just pop a little bit of colour in here. Yeah, that's it. It's cool that you can do that. You can't do that with pastels. You just can't do it. You can't undo. This is just a representation of the scene, really. I'm not too fussed about getting it exactly the same. But, you know, I don't really want to. It's starting to come to life. I think this little wall needs a bit more attention on it now. Got the shadows in, but the wall. I'm trying, instead of scribbling and get it in too thick. In a bold mark. That's it. Yellow went over the top. Dark. That's the kind of line I like to get. And then we can, let's see, okay, they're going this side of it. I'm not bothered that they're not all in a nice straight line. Don't kind of want that. Okay. I've sort of merged my reflections in the water. They've sort of disappeared a bit. And these don't run quite parallel, which is cool. Do something about that. I'm going to try the smudge and see if I can just. What brush I'm using. I've got the odd pastel, that's okay. Soften it off a bit. So that's got that. That's looking reasonable. I still want more reflection, so I'm going to do it with the soft pastel brush. Yeah, okay, they go like that. Oh, little bit on the thick side there. That's it. Just wipe that down. It's better. So we've got those going off, and then we can wipe some lines going through it as well. I like that sort of softness. I can smudge those. See the difference between that and using the smudge tool? It doesn't look quite as dirty. This comes down a bit here, I think. There we go. I think I need to just go back to the odd pastel. A bit of an edge on that. I can go back to the soft one again. Better. And I can do a similar sort of thing that I did to this side. I just think this purple, by the way, is looking a bit too vibrant. I need to knock it a bit duller. That's it. So there we go. Let's make these people a bit bigger. Yeah, that's a bit more like it. Work on that a little bit, tidy that up where I've resized it. Now, if I zoom in really tight like that, the temptation is I've got all that detail to work with, and I don't really need. I don't need it. I do not need it. So I've got to be careful that you know, we don't lose sight of what we're actually trying to achieve. That's just an impression. Something here. We don't need the old thing going off. What is head? Shoulder. Put his shoulder in. That going off. And that helps define this. The guy who's rowing. It helps define his shoulders as well. And I've got his shirt slightly wrong. So although I'm not worrying about detail, I am kind of worrying about proportions and shape and stuff to a certain extent. Not, you know, overly worried. But that will just like that. Now I can see that this shoulder comes out more like that. Get that right. And I can put his arm in here. Maybe an oar, just a too thick, too light. Yeah, something like that. Then you've got this backpack thing going off. That doesn't need anything other than that. When I zoom out, that'll be fine. A bit more vibrant colour on the boat. Under there. There, say. That. Squiggling. Almost white. What brush I'm using at the minute. Oh, let's go to the hard pastel. I thought it was a bit soft. I get the hard pastel then? I did. Oh, and then we've got the really dark bit under there, like that. Action. Bit of an highlight. That's too much, but so I'll knock it back. This is wider, and I need to get a bit of purple. Just some tea. What was I saying about detail? That pattern on it just adds a little bit of form, I think. A little bit of yellow stuff going off there. That'll do. I think we're nearly there now. No, not. Need to put his hat on. Do I need that? I feel like I do for some reason. Like we need to be, going for it. Yeah, that'll do. That's all right. Maybe spending far too more time than I thought I was going to on this. Just looks a bit insipid. Want to strengthen him up. That's better. Okay, now I've just sort of got the water left to do, haven't I, really? So how am I going to do that? In fact, you know what? I just need a shadow under his arm there. It just feels right that we do that. And there, maybe. Yeah. Okay, let's think about this. What have we got? We've got the odd pastel. Let's try that for the minute. The brush. I just want some horizontal strokes, I think. Watercolor. There's dark going off as well, haven't we? Let's get some darks in. Do the darks first. I think maybe I need the charcoal block. This might be nice. Ooh. But it made case, I've only got 10% battery life left. That comes kind of right over there like that. Yeah. Too much, that one. Oh, we've got these lovely ripple things going off, which I think will hopefully bring the boat or set it in the picture way better. I want my smudge brush, my soft pastel going off here, I think. Yes. That's giving, and then we've got this orange. Look, reflecting that building. Kind of got it in the wrong place, I guess. Let's just push it along a bit, and it's coming in here, here, that. Go. Very delicate strokes I'm putting in now. Really delicate. These here are too fierce, so I'm gonna I think my pencil is dying. So what I'm going to do, I'll pause the video for a bit and recharge, and then I'll be back. Okay, I've just plugged in the iPad and I'm back in action. It wasn't the pencil at all. I don't know why I thought it was, because it was probably telling me on the screen. Just wasn't paying attention to it. I just want to kind of lose that a bit and then redefine that red. Where are we? A bit. Yeah. Even bolder. For me, it's all about the vibrant colours. And then I can pick up this lighter colour, make my brush much smaller, and so off those. In fact, go with that colour. Really delicate strokes, just sort of blending that in, look. Oh, I can come in with some darker ones this side. And that just cuts that a bit. Got to keep looking at the bigger picture. I don't want to lose out on that. Do some soft wigglies. I'm not so sure if that, you know, when I use the what brush was it called, the burnt tree, I'm not so sure that was a good idea. Now it's not fitting in with what I'm wanting to do, and it's at those points when you think, yeah, maybe I should have worked on separate layers, and I could have just switched the layer off. I feel like it's okay there, but in the foreground it's just not cutting it. I know what's the problem with this boat. I've got no reflection, have I? Let's just add in a bit of a smudgy. That to me has made just so much difference. Let's sort of take the dark side of it down there a little bit. I feel like I just want to blend that a bit like that. It just felt like it needed it to soften that up. I don't know how far to go with these ripples. Blend in. I can go over this with some dark. In fact, I'm gonna blending on that. I think that adds to it, and a bit there softens it up a little bit. Yeah, and now I can go in with the Art brush, I think, the Art Pastel, and just define a few of these lines maybe. I notice, well, I need this to be light, a light colour. I'm looking at, we've got sort of lines like this and this, and then there's lines going through them like that. but that's too fussy. I don't like it. Sometimes, you know, if you're going for photorealism, yes, do that, but for me, it's just bold strokes, and you haven't got to get tied up. Really haven't got to get tied up with detail. This. That's what I want to be doing. This, just a mark like that. Yeah, definitely. Try and, you know, don't let them wobble. It's difficult when you're working on glass, and I don't use one of those screen protectors or anything like that. I find them, well, I assume I would find them irritating. I want to see the pure colour, because you know what, I've never actually ever tried one, so I've been prejudiced before I've even gone there. Too thick. Just getting that right balance. Then I want some darker ones this side. It's looking a bit mechanical, isn't it? Just wants softening down a bit. Maybe if I just bit of a smudge to soften that off a little bit. But I think I'm nearly there, you know. I think I need to smudge this picture as well a bit. Sort of let colours blend in. It looks definitely like it's painted on the scene. I want to lose that sort of rough edge there as well. I don't like that. And then just pop in his or sometimes you have to do a stroke a few times to get it. Got to tilt the pencil just at the right angle. That's it. There. That definitely needs a bit of a softener on it. And I'm going to go in with that nice, finally, this is the last bit now, going in with the soft pastels. Just want to soften off a few more greens and things. Just let them blend in a bit. Purple. Vertical strokes. That is a nicer way to blend the pastels than the actual blender, I have to say. Yeah. Back in it. Just takes the harshness out of a lot of the like that. No, that's a bit too much. I think I'm almost there. I just want a bit of a weight coming out of this side. A lot of fun. That's it. I think, you know what? That's it. I've finished. There we are. So a pastel painting in Procreate. Made a couple of brushes. Keep watching out for more of this, because I am going to definitely make a full set of pastel brushes. I'm going to mess around with them, try them out, and then I'll be releasing them for everybody else or all you guys to make use of. So let's get it signed. That's it. Pastels in Procreate. I really hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, big thumbs up as always is much appreciated. And if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, because I've got lots of videos like this and I would love to be sharing them all with you. So don't forget, everybody, stay safe, stay sane, and keep painting. And hopefully I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.